Would you like to quickly reach level 86 in Mist of Pandaria? Look no further. You will of course need to do some preparations in the pre-patch for this to be as efficient as possible, and also watch the video to the end to learn about my secret strategies. The first thing you would like to do is to change your talent and glyph tree and even specialization into what's increasing your character's performance the most, at least if you're going to solo level in the open world and kill creatures as quickly as possible. Next, you would like to start stacking up on consumables. Invisibility potions so you can skip difficult areas and quickly run to a location and loot that item. Swiftness potions so you can run quicker when you're inside a cave where you can't use your mount. Flask and also potions which you can activate together with your other cooldowns to finish off a target a bit quicker. And don't forget to also buy scrolls and different food buffs. As a tank and healer, you might also want to restore your reforged items and instead turn this into more crit, hit or haste. Also change your enchants and gems into the best possible stat for your specific class. I know some people will say you'll replace this gear in just an hour or two after the launch. Well, it all depends on what items you currently have in the pre-patch. Also remember these will be enchanted and most likely also gemmed, so the stats are way better, and you also need the new dungeon loot to be dropping before you will replace any of this. And your pre-patch gear will that way also help you clear these dungeons quicker, so you can hopefully obtain the new items. No matter what, then in my opinion it is worth it, also because you can actually solo some of the dungeon with proper gear. So imagine if you're a 5-man group doing this, you will also be able to rush through everything super quickly. But is dungeon farming the quickest way to level up? Definitely not. I'll get back to my methods in just a moment. How about slaying creatures in Cataclysm zones until 86? Nah, this is definitely not the way. It has been nerfed, so the experience you're gaining when killing creatures from Cataclysm has also been nerfed by a high amount. And as you can see, I'm getting 400 experience from each kill, where in Mist of Pandaria zones, this is 20 times as high, 8000 experience. On top of this, when leveling in Mist of Pandaria zones, I'm also progressing through the story and unlocking important parts. And the quests are also giving me a lot more experience. However, what we can prepare is 25 completed quests in Cataclysm. Yeah, they are of course not rewarding you as much experience compared to Mist of Pandaria quest, but we can hand these in instantly and also get a good chunk of experience. There is however 4 important quests to do. Those are from Wintergrasp, because they are also red as of right now, rewarding you pretty close to twice as much compared to a Mist of Pandaria quest. So if you can prepare these and dungeon quest, well, then you should be able to probably get yourself 3 or 4 bars within a couple of minutes. The moment I've handed in my quest, I want to use either my Hearthstone or maybe even my Guild Cloak so I can teleport to the main city, Stormwind City as Alliance and Orgrimmar as a Horde player. When you get to these cities, you will automatically be given the quest that takes you to Pandaria, but first you will need to complete a couple of steps. These usually takes less than 5 minutes. The moment you get to the Jade Forest, you would also like to start questing. But as we're questing, you should also pay attention to treasures, because treasures are granting you a lot of experience. We are talking about almost 200,000 and all the way up to 300,000 worth of experience. The good thing is that I've just made a guide with all of these secret treasures in the game, and if you're collecting all of them, we're also looking at half a level worth of experience. The good thing is that I've also made a video covering all of these locations so you can easily find them yourself. I've left the link to this in the description below this video. But sadly we won't be able to collect all of them at the launch day, as some of them are also in other zones. But in the Jade Forest, you should easily be able to get 2 to 3 bars of experience just from these treasures. But the quickest way to level up is not just to go for treasures. No, you would like to be questing at the same time and then pick up those when you're at that questing area. When I'm questing, I'm also using a leveling guide, and the one I'm using right here I will also leave in the description. On the map it will indicate the exact location instead of just a circle like the traditional quest helper. There's going to be easy targeting that will automatically mark the targets you need to kill, and many other useful things, such as an arrow guiding you to the destination of your next quest. It will work from level 1 and all the way up to 90, and when I get to max level I will continue to use it for when I have to farm reputation with the different factions. When you get to the Jade Forest, you would also like to make sure you're heading for the Innkeeper. Yeah, you would like to change your Hearthstone, but also buy the updated food and water, as this is way better compared to what we could get in Cataclysm. On top of this, at the Innkeepers, there's also going to be food buffs you can buy, so you can regen health and mana at the same time, and also get a buff that lasts for 1 hour. What you should also be looking out for is rare creatures. Rares do of course drop rare items, and also materials for your professions, gold, and even a currency called the Lesser Charm of Good Fortune, which is needed when you get to max level for bonus rolls. In Mist of Pandaria, rares are now also displayed on your minimap, so at the top right corner you can find these displayed as a star. The reason why you always want to take down these rares is mainly because they're also granting you a lot of experience. We are talking about the same amount, equal to what you're also receiving for 2 to 3 quests. Therefore, I'm also using an add-on called Rare Scanner. What this does is to automatically warn me if I'm close to a nearby rare, so don't miss these. On top of this, on my map, it will now display all the different locations where you can expect to find these. So in this case, where there's actually a rare I had no clue about, I were also being told to head to this location. And yeah, it were up, it were just invisible. Earlier in the video, I did mention dungeon farming not being an efficient way to level up from 85 to 86. But there is actually one thing we can do, and it is to do the Jade Serpent dungeon once. Basically because when you enter this dungeon, there's also going to be a couple of quests you can do, and these are granting a decent amount of experience and a guaranteed blue cloak. And once you have completed this dungeon, you could then get back to questing. But what I've also noticed is that instead of running here, you could sign up for the dungeon specifically. You just go to specific dungeons and choose this one, so you can save yourself a bit of travel time. However, there's something else we can also be doing. It is to sign for a random Mist of Pandaria dungeon. At level 85, there's only going to be 2 dungeons that can appear, and when you complete the dungeon, you will also be rewarded with a bonus at the end. When there's going to be 2 dungeons, well, then it's going to be nice if it's going to be the Temple of the Jade Serpent. But the other dungeon isn't bad either. It is located in another zone, which is called Valley of the Four Winds. At level 86 you'll begin questing in this zone, but we can enter this dungeon at level 85, and in here there will also be a couple of quests to do, which is why you should just use the random dungeon finder tool, so you're also getting the bonus at the end. By the way, a small trick, this quest giver are also selling water and food, so if you didn't purchase this at the Innkeeper, then you can always purchase it right here. But shouldn't we just do Cataclysm dungeons, as those are easier to do and you're still getting a decent bonus? Definitely no. The experience in here has been nerfed. This is me soloing these creatures, and no, I'm not being rewarded with a lot of experience, especially when we consider that normal creatures in Mist of Pandaria were also rewarding me 8000 experience. And this character has rested experience, so I would only be getting half the amount. There is of course also many things you can prepare in the pre-patch, not just leveling wise, but just to be as ready as possible for Mist of Pandaria, and those I've also covered in another video you can find on my channel. On my channel you can soon also find a lot of other useful Mist of Pandaria guides, so make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell to get notified when I post these. I wish you an amazing leveling journey in Mist of Pandaria, and as always, thank you so much for watching and have an amazing day. Peace.